Alive! Oh god, I can hear myself in my own ear, and that is not a comfortable sound on that earpiece, at least. Hey, hello, good morning. Pardon me for a second. There we go. That's what I was waiting for, so I could see all of this. So I can see that. We got everything set up kind of the way I want it, like chats over there, screens up here, I'm here. And then on the vertical cam on Youbes, we got me here, and then right below is the video that we're watching. Hey Luna, good morning. I completely missed Trump's address from the Oval Office Friday, so we're gonna watch that, and then apparently there's a lot of really interesting speeches, and I use interesting in the most rhetorical sense possible. Yesterday at CK's vigil, so I guess we'll go watch all the ridiculous shit that people said during that. Yes, we're starting political commentary, I guess. You'll let me know if y'all can hear the audio all right or not whenever I hit play on this. Oh, I can't hear it. Why can't I hear it? Oh, because it's fucking muted. There we go. So y'all can hear it fine. Okay. At least the audio is coming through. Let me know if it needs to be turned up.
Ready?
They're already live, brother.
Very much. As you know, we passed the continuing resolution in the Republican House today. It was an amazing vote, actually. It showed we want to keep things going and going properly. It was good for a lot of reasons. The Republicans want to keep government open. But in the Senate, we have 53.
Not so much. It took them a long time to get there.
And we need 60 votes. That means we need Democrat votes. I want to thank Senator John Fetterman. He wants to keep the country open.
So right there where he says he needs 60 votes, is he needs, they're at 53 and they need 60. So in the House, okay, you can hear it good. The Republicans have 53 seats. In order to get enough seats to where if their entire side of the aisle says yes to something, that it'll pass 100% of the time without having to reach across the aisle, they need that total. They need those total six. They need those 7 extra seats, those total 60 seats, in order to basically like steamroll the entirety of the House.
We're doing so well as a country. We're doing probably better than ever before. If you look at the stock market and other indicators.
So the stock market doesn't really dictate how well you're doing as a country. The stock market, like everything going up and all that, is investors' confidence in the market, and it's not in making a good market. It's in making money from that market. So it's not a good gauge on how well the country is doing economically. It's just how likely the rich are to get rich and how likely people are to spend.
We have tremendous investment coming in, record investment coming. Everything's going well, but the Democrats are unhappy about that because they don't want it to go well.
It's not that we don't want it to go well. I don't know why all of that decided to stop working suddenly. It's not that I say we, like I'm a Democrat. I'm not a fucking Democrat. I'm just more left than everybody else, including Democrats. It's that we don't want, or that Democrats don't want, like, an inflated market. Because an inflated market means that people aren't able to buy the necessities.
Well, I think they actually dislike our country greatly.
I don't get the point of this, like, trying to, like, say that the Democrats don't want what's best for the country. Is that that Democrats don't like the country. It's like they just don't like you. You're not the country.
They want to have open borders. They want to stop
The borders are open.
fighting of crime, where we've been very successful at the.
It's not that we don't, hang on. It's not that they don't want the stopping of fighting of crime. I don't want to see necessities be priced out. Yeah, exactly. Priced out from the people, exactly. The borders are open. Regardless, people are still coming in and out of the country. We do regular trade with both people north and south of our border, of the U.S. borders. And so that we don't want to, like, stop crimes. Like, no, we're stopping crime. We just don't. Like, here's the thing: the Republican Party, right, is the party of states' rights. Like, no federal overreach. They don't want federal overreach. They don't want, like, the big government, big daddy government, coming in and being like, okay, we're going to do this in your city and in your state without your approval. Yet this is exactly what Trump is doing. He's being big government, coming in and invalidating and, like, invading, like, states' rights, which is what the Republican Party wants. But you know what? It's fine. They're contrarian.
Washington, D.C. is it's a hot place right now. Everyone's having dinners. They're going out all over. There's very little crime. They haven't seen numbers like this in many, many years. And other places, as you know, we're going into Memphis. We'll soon be going into Chicago. We've already had people out there and in there.
You've already had ICE kill somebody in Chicago and a whole bunch of other shit.
But I guess they want crime and we fight crime, and it's a pretty big difference. They want to have men playing women's.
I really do hate the divisive language. I'm sorry. Rewind that 5 seconds.
They want to have men playing women's sports. They want transgender for everybody. And if they don't get everything that they want, all these things that they
I'm sorry. What the fuck? They want to transgender everybody. What? This is how you know you have an inept fucking leader when they're using words. Yeah, exactly. What the hell is he spouting? He's using words, divisive language, without actually knowing, like, what those words, like, he has a somewhat of idea of what those mean. He's trying to do a George Bushism, right? For the people who understand how, first of all, how language works, and who understand, like, what he's talking about and what he's trying to say, it's ridiculous. It makes no sense. But, you know, it's, I don't know how you can transgender someone. You can't. Okay.
they want, that are proven so badly. They want to close our government down. We're not going to let.
Here's the thing. Whenever there's a Democrat in office, the Republican side of the House and Congress want to shut down the government. They want to stalemate and stall out until they get what they want. Until they get their concessions. So, I mean, it's really, really weird seeing how it's like, oh, it's the Democrats' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. Blah 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 blah. And like, no, no, you just can't get your fucking shit together with your own party until, like, you give them concessions to what they want. Same as every other time that we've been close to the government shutdown.
Bad things happen to our country. We're not going to approve things that we shouldn't be approving. Just today, the House Democrats voted against condemning the political assassination of Charlie Kirk.
They did no such thing. You can't, like, vote on condemning the PA of CK. There's no, like, bill or anything else that you can, like, that you can nominate to condemn something for a specific person that's already passed. Like, They had their moment of silence. Democrats participated in that moment of silence. And then somebody started asking about why didn't we have a moment of silence for the Democratic senator, or I forget her name, who her husband, and her dog were all shot by a right winger. Every government shutdown in the past 4 years has been it's been because of Republicans. This guy is just lie after lie after lie after lie after lie after lie after lie, and he thinks just because he's the president that what he says has to be true and taken as fact. If I stop and try and correct this guy at every point, we'll be here for 5 weeks.
Condemning all they're saying, please condemn the assassination of a human being.
They have.
And they said no, then we're not going to do that.
You're incorrect. They have.
Remember
they have
this,
condemned
we had
it.
an election a very short time ago. Republicans won presidential. We won the popular vote by a lot. We won all 7 swing states. We won the electoral college by a
You
lot.
won the electoral college. You didn't win the popular
We won most
vote.
U.S. counties in a total landslide. So we won.
I like how he's covering his ass about his own election right now, because it came out like it was probably rigged, but he's covering his fucking ass right now.
600 counties versus 525 counties for the Democrats. So,
Why does he spend so much time covering his ass?
Takes place at the voter booth. In many cases, it's not a voter booth because they have mail-in voting, which is
Even in places where they have mail-in voting, they still have voting booths. It can be at the fire department. It's been at high schools. I mean, for fuck's sakes, man.
So we'll continue to talk to the Democrats.
It's been at VFW halls.
You could very well end up with a closed country for a period of time, and
So he wants to close the country.
take care of
So no more trade.
military, we'll take care of Social Security. We'll take care of the things that we have to take care of. A lot
How?
of the things that Democrats
How?
fight for, which many
He's not going to tell you how. How he does it is that he basically goes on to like what he's trying to do, in DC and Chicago, and these other cities where he's sending in the National Guard. He's sending in troops. And he's been sending in Marines too and other armed forces. It's what's the fucking term? Fuck. And he's basically using the military to take over the country, and not respect states' rights to govern their own populace. He wants to directly govern everything, which is contradictory to his entire party stance. But you know what? Hey, it's the MAGA cult, but whatever.
good things will not be able to be
Oh, and he's going to use that to do away with social programs, Social Security, and all that. All that's going to be hoarded by the government to pay off his friends.
paid. So we'll watch and see how they do with that. They'll have to handle their constituents pretty carefully.
They'll have to handle their constituents pretty carefully.
We won the House. We did fine in the Senate, but we need 60 votes. So we have 53 senators, and we need 60 votes. That means the Democrats have to vote.
He said this 7 minutes ago.
And I don't think they will be voting. Now what we are doing,
Federalizing, yeah, it's federal. It's a bit more.
Which is going to bring
It is federalizing, but it's specifically using the military.
Lots of other good things, but we'll save that for a little bit later. Why don't we do this first, and then we'll talk about the gold card, okay? Any questions, Jeff?
Your call with President Xi, sir? President Xi, your call this morning with
It
President
was
Xi.
great. I had a great call with President Xi, and as you know,
We talked to President Xi of China about the TikTok deal.
Process. We have some great investors, some of the biggest in the world, American investors, great people, and we look forward to getting that deal closed.
So the deal is. So hold on, pause. The deal is that China, whatever percentage of ownership it has over ByteDance, which is not much, will relinquish it down to 20% of its current ownership rate, dilute the ownership of ByteDance, selling it to American investors. There's been no talk about, in that process, selling the algorithm that TikTok has that's been doing incredibly well. There's no talk about that. That hasn't been like sorted out yet. But that's where they are. That's where they are in that. It's all about money.
I think so. I mean, when you say fully approved, I don't know what that means. We have to get it signed. I guess there could be a formality. I found his word to be very good. President Xi and I had a long talk. We talked for almost 2 hours. And started.
Will that lift any of the tariffs and sanctions on China, though, is my question.
I think it was a very good talk.
Probably
We
not.
talked about trade. We talked about war. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about Russia, Ukraine, obviously, and Gaza. Talked about a lot of subjects. It was a long call. It was a good call. We have a very good relationship. But the TikTok deal is well on its way, as you know, and the investors are getting ready. And I think China wanted to see it stay open, too. They wanted to see it. And I can tell you the young people in our country wanted to see it stay open very badly because, and if you take a look at my numbers,
Here's the thing. After what's going on in Nepal and Peru, oh my God, fuck it, we gotta cover Peru today. Sorry, mi abuela es de Peru. My grandmother's from Peru. We have to cover what's going on in Peru right now. After this, fuck CK's memorial. We're gonna go talk about what's happening in Peru after this. He's scared though. He's scared after Nepal and Peru.
anything like we got massive numbers of youth vote. And by the way, helped very much by Charlie. So Charlie was very much in favor of TikTok. He liked TikTok. And he said, you should use it. And other people said that too. And I used it. And I don't know if I have I think I set records. I looked at numbers that are phenomenal. We'll pass them out to you. And it had probably a pretty big.
They never got those numbers passed out.
Because we won the election by a lot. So we are at a situation where in a little while, meaning a number of days, we'll probably, I don't know if you can make a deal with these people. I think these people are crazy. Again, anybody wants open borders and don't want to fight. They don't want to fight crime. They hate to fight crime. And
back to the Democrats not wanting to fight crime.
Murdered. And you had 28 shot. And
This is from the Party of States' Rights. He's sending in the federal government to different cities, blue cities, and blue states, because they don't want to fight crime. They're fighting crime.
Even much money, relatively speaking, it's very little. But we're going there anyway. It doesn't make any difference. We're going to Chicago. We're going to Memphis next. And we're going to clean up the crime in the cities because we have to do that, okay?
Notice how he hasn't mentioned yet. New Orleans is in the top 5. Excuse me. Is in the top 5 deadliest cities in the world. Or I say deadliest, but like high crime cities in the world. Oh, at least in the U.S. Sorry, high crime cities in the U.S. He hasn't said New Orleans yet. Why? Because the Speaker of the House is from Louisiana. Because the majority of the people being killed in New Orleans are BIPOC people. That's why he doesn't give a fuck about crime. He cares about painting everything white. New Orleans is taking care of itself. It's fine. It's a blue city in a red state. The governor can say whatever, the people of the House and Senate can say whatever, but the mayor of New Orleans is a blue city, and they will not fucking stand for it. I say that as a New Orleans native.
With this deal today, are you confident that the CCP won't be exerting control?
Yeah, we're gonna have a very.
But they want them to kowtow to him.
And look, it's an amazing thing that's been created. There's tremendous value with TikTok, and I'm a little prejudiced because I frankly did so well on it.
What's really interesting is that entire time he was talking about how good the stock market is, laying blame at the feet of the Democratic Party. The entire time, next to him, he's got the Trump Gold Card is here. When is that going to be addressed? What is that?
It got me numbers that nobody's ever even heard of before. So a lot of people want.
Yeah, because they're fake numbers.
This country want it badly. The parents of those young people want it badly. And so we were able to work out a deal with China. And it's a very good deal for us. It's a very.
You could just stop caring,
Would you be confident in a, or would you accept a deal where
using political power to influence business.
We're going to have very good control. We have these are American investors, all of them, and they all love our country. They're all very well-known people, very famous people, actually, financially, and they'll have control of it. And
I'm gonna sit back here while I'm reading this.
And we've just had a good relationship, and we wanted a lot of people in this country wanted to be open. And again, if it weren't open, maybe, I don't know, I think we won by so much it wouldn't have mattered, but we got a lot of votes. We got a lot of Republican votes from very young people. Go ahead, Jeff.
Entered Estonia's airspace today for 12 minutes. Do you see that as a threat to NATO?
Well, I'm going to have to look at it. They're going to be briefing me in a short while, so I'll let
Yeah,
you
he's talking about NATO, the Russia, Ukraine.
I don't love it when that happens. It could be big trouble.
What's being asked and said?
For 12 minutes. Do you see that as a threat to NATO?
Well, I'm going to have to look at it.
Yeah,
People. You go ahead, Jeff.
Russian jets entered Estonia's airspace today for 12 minutes. Do you see that as
I was talking about the Portuguese
Well,
airspace.
I'm going to have to look at it.
The drones that Russia sent into Portugal.
I'll let you know about it tonight or tomorrow.
what's your take in general?
Well, I don't love it. I don't love it when that happens. It could be big trouble. But I'll let you know later. They're going to brief me in about an hour.
And a follow-up on Charlie Kirk. There's been a lot of talk about free speech this week. Do you see a difference between cancel culture and consequence culture?
I mean, your question's a little trick question. I'm a very strong person for free speech. At the same time,
Unless it's against him.
networks that where I won an election, like in counties, I guess it's 2,600 to 525.
It was right. It doesn't want to talk about Charlie Kirk. It wants to talk about his election and how he won it.
That level of popularity or voter support, as I did in the last election, and yet 97 and 94%, different numbers. You see different numbers with different.
So this is why this guy's a fucking narcissist. Everything comes back to about him covering his own ass.
96% of the people are against me in the sense of the.
See, against me in this.
Against me.
Yeah.
The stories are 90. They said 97%.
The question was about Charlie Kirk and free speech. He's talking about himself.
Great story, and they'll make it bad. See, I think that's really illegal, personally. You
I have very good control. Yeah.
Free airwaves. You're getting free airwaves from the United States government, and you can't have that and say, and somebody that just won an election, and I had to go through this during the election. I think it's a miracle that I can win. When 97% of the stories on the networks are bad, or whatever it may be, whether it's 89, it doesn't matter. It's a tremendous number. You know it, you report it all the time, and it changes. But when you have that kind of a negative reporting, fake negative reporting, when they take a great story and they make it into a bad story constantly, that's what they do. Look, 60 Minutes took Kamala's answer and they threw it out and they gave her a different answer so that she sounded competent. When things like that happen, George Slobodanov.
This is coming from the guy who walked out of a 60-minute interview, who's refused 60-minute interviews because he didn't like how the last one went because he didn't like the questions that they were asking. Look at this, look at this, look at this. These people look bad. Don't look at me looking bad. Don't point out me looking bad. Don't put out me doing bad things. But look at what they're doing that's bad.
Again, when somebody is given 97% of the stories are bad about a person, that's no longer free speech. That's no longer anything. That's just cheating. And they cheat.
That's cheating? Pointing out the truth is fucking cheating? That's fucking wild.
They're just offshoots of the Democrat National Committee.
People are still anticipating who your pick for National Security Advisor will be. They're worried Marco Rubio is a little overworked, and one of the reported frontrunners is Michael Anton from the State Department.
He's good.
He's just authored the National Security Strategy. Also in the mix is Mike Flynn, And
Good.
Steve Whitcock, can you give us an indication?
Well, they're all good. No, we'll make a decision soon. But we're doing very well. You know, I settled 7 wars, more than that, I think. But actually, we settled
He hasn't
7,
settled a second.
we're working on.
What wars has he settled? The Russia-Ukraine war is still going on. The Israeli genocide of the Palestinian people in Gaza is still going on. The humanitarian crisis / genocide going on in Congo is still going on. Like, what reality does this guy live in? Because I tell you what, it's not the same one that we live in.
In Gaza, it's a tough one, but we'll get it done somehow. And we're also working with Russia and Ukraine. They hate each other so much you wouldn't believe it. President Putin and President Zelensky, they hate each other to a level that you wouldn't believe. So they're having a little bit of a problem with that.
And are you considering Stephen Moran for Fed chair?
I hadn't thought of it too much. He's doing a great job. Just got approved. His vote was a very good one. The Fed should have done more. You know, too late. Powell is terrible. He's a terrible chair. I think he's just terrible. But despite
That's
that,
so
we're
detailed.
through it. We have another record stock market today. We're very, very high levels, and we're at the highest levels. So we're setting records. Many days during my administration, we've set records, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because the rich know they're going to get richer while you're in office.
Never come close. We're not so far away from it. So that's because they see what's happening. Not so much what's happening exactly right now, but they see all the plants that are being built. They see the kind of investment that's going to be made.
They're the ones doing the investment.
So Biden had $250 billion. Okay, or putting a simpler way, they had much less than $1 trillion, but they had less than $1 trillion for 4 years. I have $17 trillion for 8 months. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
What is he talking about?
And they're saying when those plants open, right now they're being built. A lot of them.
Is he talking about investments?
Over the next year, takes a while, but we're getting fast permits.
So his effect on the stock market has caused investors to invest more into their businesses, which typically shows market confidence in the fact that people will buy. So he's gotten investors in business to invest trillions of dollars, according to him. I'd like to see the actual fucking number on that, into the stock market, into businesses and whatnot. Inflating the stock prices, right? And during Biden's time, that didn't happen. It's there, but to go about it and say that investors are investing because they're investing is essentially what he just said. That's fucking a verbal circle jerk.
I don't think there'll be.
Yes, investors are investing because they're investing. No, that's literally what he said Friday. Yeah, a verbal circle jerk, yes. Doomed.
Anything like what we're going to experience. Yeah.
Mr. President, if I can, on the top subject of free speech, Ted Cruz compared Brendan Carr to a mob boss, the way he's threatening television stations and saying it's absolutely dangerous for the government to determine which speech is okay and which is not. What's your reaction to Ted Cruz?
I think Brendan Carr is an incredible American patriot with courage. You know, it used to be, I remember in the old days that networks would have to get...
He doesn't want to talk about Ted Cruz?
That it was always a big deal. You know, they had to show honesty and integrity. When you have a network, again, I'll use the same numbers, whether it's 90 or 94 or 97.
Yeah, what is he on? That's my question.
When you have networks that give somebody 97% bad publicity or 94% bad publicity, I think that's...
The bad publicity is the fact that he's a 47 times convicted felon, that he's liable for rape.
Nothing. These airways, they make millions and millions of dollars. The news makes millions of dollars. ABC...
That he's bankrupted several companies that he started.
They had to pay me $16 million.
So you think
I
you're
wasn't
right
looking for that.
Brendan Carr has a right to
No, I think Brendan Carr is a patriot. I think Brendan Carr is a courageous person. I think Brendan Carr doesn't like to see the airwaves be used illegally and incorrectly and purposely horribly. Doesn't like to see a person that won the election in a landslide get 97% bad publicity before the election. I mean, it's amazing.
The question was about what's his thoughts on Ted Cruz's opinion of
People have given you
censoring media.
They don't give him any credibility, John. If they did, they wouldn't vote for me. They wouldn't have voted.
It wasn't talking about Ted Cruz. It's about Brendan Carr right now. But the question was about his thoughts on Ted Cruz basically saying, hey, don't censor the media.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about,
Whatever.
I assume you're talking mostly about the networks. But they have a licensing procedure, and you can read it as well. They have to show honesty and integrity. And
Unlike Fox News.
when they take a good, well, I think the people decide. That's why I'm president. When they take,
Hold on.
They take a great
There,
success.
hold on. I'm going to pause this. Because there are, I'll use this lightly, news media outlets. There's air quotes there. There are news media outlets that would say outrageous fucking horrendous bullshit, right? Like Brian Sitz whatever, right? Who's who on his morning show, or the morning show that he co-hosts on, said in reference to homeless people, his black co-host was said something on the lines of towards homeless people, they're not going to take the government assistance as is, then they need to it was like or they go to jail. And then Brian chimes in with or involuntary lethal injection. The co-host says, yeah, and then White Eye is quiet because he just realized what he said yeah to. Yeah, Fox News. Yeah, faux news. And then Brian keeps on with just kill them all. Like, that is some horrendous fucking shit. Where we're advocating, we're a news media outlet is advocating for the death of a group of people. By the way, the majority of homeless, or not use homeless, dishoused people, the majority of them are veterans and people who aged out of the adoption system and didn't get adopted. They aged out of the system before getting adopted. That's the majority of the homeless population of the United States. So what he's saying is, fuck veterans and fuck everybody that we forced to have their parents give birth to them and give them up for adoption. To the point where he says just fucking kill them. That's the news media hosts that aren't being punished because they haven't said anything bad about the president of the United States. They got a firm talking to. There's no fines for them. And then the next day, a homeless or dishoused encampment gets shot up. In Minneapolis.
Like you often do.
But if you present here's the thing. Jimmy Kimmel didn't say anything bad about President Trump. He made a statement about Charlie Kirk, which wasn't even a negative statement. And that's why he got canceled. But apparently that's anti-Donald Trump.
Make it into like it's a loser, or you put a negative spin on it. I don't think that's right. So I think Brendan Carr is a great American patriot. So I disagree with Ted Cruz on that.
The UN next week, you're going to the UN.
I'll be at the UN. I'll be making a speech. Yes,
And are you meeting any other world leaders?
many of them.
And can you tell us
Well, I'm meeting many of them. They're being set up.
what is your goal from attending that meeting? What do you hope to get out of it?
World peace. Nobody's done a better
That's
job
fucking
than
lie.
I've done in world peace. Nobody's settled so many wars as I have.
He hasn't settled a single war.
I've been here probably a little bit more than 8 months, and I've settled 7, and that doesn't include the destruction of a vast potential nuclear disaster in Iran, which we wiped out totally, as I say, obliterated it. It's been
Here's the thing: if there were military grade enriched uranium fissile material in Iran, where he had sent those bombs, right? If there was military grade enriched uranium, there is a high likeliness that he would have caused one of those nuclear devices to go off whenever he bombed them. But he wants to make that out to say like he averted nuclear disaster. Bitch, you almost fucking made Iran, parts of Iran, a nuclear fucking wasteland. The fuck are you talking about?
turned right with this beautiful plane right here. We just ordered some more of them, by the way. The B-2 bomber. Just ordered some more. The more updated version. Not that we needed that. We just need the plane because it was so flawless. These pilots flew 37 hours flawlessly. Not an engine problem, not a screw, not a bolt came loose. It was
So why?
amazing. Compare that to...
Hold on. So instead of, I don't know, being fiscally conservative, the way you're spending your money and whatnot, right? You had a successful operation. Let me get those hand quotes in there. A successful operation with these B-2 bombers, right? Nothing wrong with their engines, no screws loose, like in and out without a single fucking issue, right? And we got plenty of fucking planes. We have plenty of fucking planes. But he's ordering more and the updated versions of them with better like tech and whatnot. For why? For why? So you can sell the outdated, probably to sell the outdated models because we're like the world's largest, or the United States is the world's largest arms dealer. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's not fine.
Years ago, Jimmy Carter, same country, with the helicopters and the problems and the
Yeah,
prisoners,
see.
and the hostages, and what a mess. You know, these planes flew 37 hours without a stop. They fueled up. We had 52 tankers fueling the planes along the way. It was an incredible, and every single bomb hit its mark. And then we fired 30 of them from a submarine. What a job that was. And I don't
30
even
missiles from a
include
single
that stopped
submarine?
war. That stopped maybe
Why?
a catastrophic war.
This is all in Iran?
You know, so I think.
Oh, it stopped a catastrophic war between Iran and
On
Israel.
top of that, we're working very hard to get Russia, Ukraine settled. We'll see.
God, I hate that, man. That they back Israel so much when Israel is the aggressor in so many conflicts.
I believe that he really would like to see it done also, and I think he's going to work with us to help.
What was your message?
Who is? Repeat that?
Yeah, I hope we're going to get it done. President Xi and I spoke to him about it, and
This is China,
I
okay.
believe that he really would like to see it done also, and I think he's going to work with us to help.
What was your message? What was your message to President Xi on the war in Ukraine? What are you asking?
Well, it's the same as his message to me. He would like to see it done. He would like to see it. I believe he would like to see it ended. Yes, I do believe.
These 2 wars that you were talking about, Gaza and Ukraine, are escalating at the same time. You're going to take the stage and the UN back at the stage after these years. Do you plan to setting any kind of red lines for these 2 countries? And you said before,
Well, we're gonna
you are
see.
frustrated with Putin.
Yeah.
Are you also frustrated
We have a
with
long
Erdogan?
time to go before I get up and speak at the UN, because every day is a long time when it comes to Gaza and it comes to Israel and the Middle East. So we have a long time to go, but
Any red
you
lines?
know a lot of my opinions, and remember this, you can't forget October 7th either. People are forgetting October 7th. They forget it too quickly. That was one of the worst.
Everybody forgets October 7th. Everybody forgets that the genocide in Gaza has been going on since the 1970s. Technically before that, but it really, really, really started in the 1970s. But okay. And that's against the Palestinian people,
It was the most
not the Israelis.
evil attack that I think you could really say babies were involved, little babies were involved, and having their heads chopped off and all of the things. That
Propaganda. That's the Israeli side doing that.
Don't forget that. A lot of people do, but I don't. Yeah, please.
How about when,
Go ahead, please.
President?
What goes into retaking Bagram? Does that require boots on the ground?
Well, sometimes he just says shit to get an emotional response. That BB told him to say that.
Should have never been given up. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. There was no reason to give it up. I was leaving Afghanistan. I was leaving. I was the one.
You talking about the military base in Afghanistan?
But we were going to keep Bagram, the air base. I said it yesterday, and we had an incredible trip, as you know, to UK, and I said it during the press conference. It's one of the most powerful runways ever built in terms of weight, length, and load. What it could take, and we just
Yeah, because it was meant to like take in all of the military vehicles that the U.S. would fly into country.
We had a man that didn't know what he was doing. We had a man, by the way, that didn't approve. If you take a look at what's happening in Congress, we had a man that signed everything with almost everything with an auto pen, and he didn't tell the people from the auto pen, whoever was using it. The one man that used it.
Oh my God, dealing with not having to sign it himself. He still has to fucking sign it. He still has to approve it.
Nothing. So those pardons.
He can rescind his signature at any time.
And that includes the congressman that destroyed and deleted.
Or at least while he was in office.
From J6. They deleted everything because it turned out that they were wrong. It turned out that I offered 10,000 National Guard or soldiers, whatever they wanted.
After the fact.
Would have had a problem.
Moin.
Nancy Pelosi turned it down, and the mayor of Washington, D.C. turned it down. They deleted everything, and they destroyed it, illegally destroyed it. And Biden gave them a pardon. And Biden gave a lot of other people pardons that.
Yeah, you gave pardons to every violent J6er who then went out and committed more crimes after you pardoned them. Are you kidding me? Yes, he protected people, and Biden protected people in his own office from essentially you coming in and charging them with XYZ because of what they said and did following your actions after January 6th. That's fucking, oh my God. This is fucking divisive as all fucking get out.
Frankly, would be in jail if it wasn't for those pardons. But those pardons now are illegal, according to just about everybody.
A pardon can't be, hang on. A pardon can't be illegal because the presidential pardon is to basically saying you're forgiven for X, Y, and Z. Another president can't, like, so far as I'm aware, can't do another pardon. So, I mean, unless the president after you, if you fucking get out of office, rescinds all of your J6 pardons, then, I mean, guy, like, what the fuck are you on about? The people that you want to go after because they made you look bad on January 6th because you wanted to remain in power, but your fucking coup didn't work. Like, blame them and call them illegal and doing fucking bullshit. But you advocating for fucking violence and a coup by fucking far right wingers is fucking ridiculous. Time for the autism cure news later today yet.
Letitia James, do you intend to fire him?
When is that? When is that autism cure news later today? Because I'm assuming this is coming from the Health Secretary RFK.
U.S. Attorney from the Eastern District, or from that district in Virginia, that he was approved by 2 Democrat senators who, in my opinion, are among the worst. And when I learned that 2 senators, Democrats, because as you know, it's very hard with the blue slip, it's very hard for a Republican to get somebody approved if you have 1 senator that's a Democrat.
Big news on this topic later today. Okay. Yeah, if we had the time. Yeah, I'm not sure when exactly that news is going to come out. If we're able to cover it, we will.
In this case, we had 2. When I saw that he got 2 senators, 2 gentlemen that are bad news as far as I'm concerned, when I saw that he got approved by those 2 men, I said, pull it, because he can't be any good.
So you
Yeah.
want him fired, you want him out?
Yeah, I want him out, yeah. When I learned that he was blue-slipped through by 2 Democrat senators,
All right, who are we talking about here? Hold on.
but if you ask Virginia, that he was approved by 2
Prosecuted
according to just about
What was
everybody.
your recommendation?
On Letitia James, are you disappointed that the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia has not prosecuted Letitia James? Do you intend to fire him?
Well, we're going to see what happens. I am not following it very closely. It looks to me like she's very guilty of something, but I really don't know. I know that the U.S. Attorney from the Eastern District, or from that district in Virginia, that he was
The fuck is this?
approved by 2 Democrat senators who, in my opinion, are among the worst. And when I learned that 2 senators...
Okay, so somebody in power in West Virginia, was that what was said?
Approved. If you have 1 senator,
Isn't, okay, so the district attorney in West Virginia
it's not a law, it's a
isn't pressing charges or doing a criminal case on somebody named Letitia. Letitia?
When I saw that he got...
You talking about the district attorney? Or is he talking about the
are bad news as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you for following.
He got approved by those 2 men. I said, pull it.
Not in the U.S. Times. I wonder why, when the White House usually does this kind of announcement, we'll lurk in a bit and learn. I mean, this is from Friday evening. I'm not in the U.S. either. I'm over here in Scotland.
Senators in Virginia, people that would never vote for it, that people that haven't voted...
This is me just keeping up. I don't like to
Okay, probably years.
stream over the weekends. Trying to get back into streaming. Not going to stream over the weekends because
2 bad guys.
when my daughter's home, I like to be here with her when she's home. But she's at school right now.
People that haven't voted, they just don't vote, no matter what it is. We could give them the greatest deal ever, and they still wouldn't vote. And they voted for this guy.
What is a great deal? Something that's heavily weighted in your favor?
Have U.S. attorneys from other states where I have the same situation, and they can't get approved. So when I learned that they voted for him, I said...
Hey, Berlin, nice.
No, behind you, please.
Have you seen the polling, the Gallup poll out of Ukraine that shows 23%, less than a quarter, of Ukrainians actually support continuing the war against Putin? We saw the European leaders come here and try to say the world is united for the war effort, but Ukrainians have war fatigue themselves.
Well, I don't blame them.
Your thoughts on it?
I don't blame them. It's a war that never should have started. It's a war that never would have happened. If I were president, that war never would have happened. Ever.
Oh my god. And look, you're president now and the war is still going on because you can't fucking change shit.
A week on that war, which is the worst since the...
This is the guy who said he'd end the Russia-Ukraine war day 1, in 1 day.
And it didn't happen for...
Where is he at? Almost 8 months into his presidency and the war's still going on.
Funding, even promises made by the Biden administration.
Well, we're not spending any money on the war. You know, we're being paid for everything we said. Unlike Biden, he gave them $350 billion.
We sent them 300, hang on. Sent him 300, we sent Ukraine 300, or the U.S. sent $350 billion in military and medical aid and foodstuffs to support the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian military in their war against Russia. We didn't just send them 350 million USD. You want to know why? Because 350 million USD isn't going to do anything. Even if they were to like exchange it over to Ukrainian currency, it's not like we're just flooding the Ukrainian market with US money. We're sending them military supplies, medical supplies, foodstuffs to support their military and the relief efforts for the people of Ukraine. Because just flooding their market with money does fucking nothing.
We're not spending any money on the war. The war is being funded by...
Yeah, neither is the U.S.
NATO.
The U.S. under Biden wasn't doing that
I
either.
don't want to make money on that war. I don't want to... But we are...
Fucking bullshit. Fucking bullshit. That is when the... Hang on. Real quick. The U.S. is the most productive economically when we're in the middle of a war or a conflict. when we are selling military goods to other nations is when the U.S. is doing its best economically. So that's bullshit.
In that war because they're buying our equipment, as you know. But we,
Then stop selling to Israel. Then stop selling to Israel.
NATO, as you know, it's very important, is funding the entire thing. They're paying for the missiles, for the tanks. They're paying for anything that's sent over there. It goes to NATO, and then NATO does what they want.
Here's the thing: the $350 million worth of military equipment and medical aid and foodstuffs that that Biden sent to Ukraine. Ukraine pays us for that. It's all set up on a loan. That country now owes us for the aid that we give them. That's how that works.
They want with it. In this case, I guess they give it to Ukraine. It's a very sad war. It's a war that never should have happened.
Mr. President.
Go ahead, please.
With respect to TikTok, could you tell me, is the U.S. government going to take a board seat in the company, and will the U.S. government
A what?
a board seat within the company?
Well,
Or is the government going to take a board seat on TikTok?
We're going to announce it. But it's a great deal for our country. It's a great deal for all of the young people in the country that wanted it, and people generally. I was happy with it. Look, I wasn't a fan of TikTok, and then I got to use it, and I became a fan, and it helped me win the election.
Yeah, because he can look at all the little kids dancing. That's why he's a fan of it.
I think that it's a deal that's going to be great. And it's also controlled by very powerful and very substantial American people. All American, by the way, all
Here's the thing. TikTok is already 40% owned by U.S. interest groups.
Go ahead, please.
It's already owned by 40% interest groups. Or 40% U.S.-based interest groups.
Of prime working age. So if you and Secretary Lutnick could talk about the efforts your administration is taking to help our American gentlemen get back to work.
Yeah, well, what we're doing is they're building plants all over the United States, and frankly, because of tariffs, we're taking in trillions of dollars.
Taking in trillions of dollars from the U.S. taxpayer.
For years, and everyone knows this. Countries that have ripped us off for years, like nobody's ever been ripped off before.
I don't know why he's so going off about like tariffs being paid by other countries. This is why he's a failed businessman, why he's bankrupted so many companies. Because he doesn't understand how tariffs work impartially.
The jobs are being created right now. And
he just doesn't make a good fucking product.
And we didn't use, tariffs were used against us, but we didn't use them against others. But we're really better at it than anybody else.
Yeah, tariffs disincentivize other countries, or it's supposed to disincentivize businesses from doing business with other countries, starting to try to buy stuff. It's an incentive to buy stuff from within the country that in which the businesses reside in. But the businesses, so tariffs are not sanctions, right? They can still buy stuff from other countries. They're just going to be taxed by the federal government. The buying business is going to be taxed by the U.S. government, a percentage of whatever they paid for that product that they bought from the opposite country. The business then shuffles off the responsibility of paying for that tax to its own consumers in the country that it's from. So you pay for the taxes. You pay for the tariffs, not the other countries. The reason why he thinks that other countries pay for it is because it disincentivizes businesses from buying from other countries. That's just not how it works. It's still cheaper for the business to buy from other countries.
Nobody's ever seen anything. Even people that were.
Or sometimes it's the only choice that they have.
And by the way, with no inflation, with no problem.
A record inflation. What the fuck are you talking about?
Cash to reduce taxes, reduce debt, and other things. It's a great thing to watch. And
this guy.
honest reporters are saying they've never seen anything like what's happening. Our country is becoming very rich again, only because of tariffs. If we didn't have it,
the government is becoming richer because it's taking money from the U.S. taxpayer. And people who are business owners, like the people who like own NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla and everything else like that. Anybody who makes money off of the stock prices in the markets around that, they're making money because they get to claim more income because of the higher tariffs. They get a higher buyback percent.
Country would be, it was a dead country. Look, we were a dead country a year ago, and now we're the most successful, most vibrant country anywhere in the world.
I don't know why you're saying we were a dead country.
Hello, Sean. Nice to see you. You look good on television.
Thanks, sir.
Good.
Tonight, in a few minutes, Steve Bannon will appear on my show.
Good.
He floats the idea that you should dual hat Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent, not only as Treasury Secretary, but as interim Fed chair. Would you be willing to entertain that?
In other words, you like Scott.
Yes, sir, very much.
So do I. And I like Steve, too. Okay.
Would you like to see that, him dual
Well,
hat?
it's certainly an interesting tool. We could save a little bit on salary. I think I could maybe make a deal where we just give them one salary. You know, I have a couple of them.
So this is what they're discussing right now is consolidation of power. So instead of having you have different department heads for, especially within government, to it's not only for delegation, but to make sure that one person isn't influencing too much, isn't having too much control over the government, the country, the nation itself. So what was just suggested to Trump by this show host and apparently as a talking mouthpiece for Steve Bannon was consolidating power from two different departments who have responsibility for the fiscal situation of the United States and its citizens, consolidating them into one group to essentially deregulate how that part of the government or those two interacting parts of the government interact with each other.
We have Marco, who's got about 3 positions, right? He's doing great also. No, I don't think that's going to be necessary. Actually, I went to Scott and I talked to him about that position, and he loves what he's doing right now. So, he's not in the mix because he loves being Secretary of the Treasury.
Quick follow-up. Today is the first day of early voting in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Are you planning on campaigning for Winston Sears, John Reed, or Jason Mayaras?
Well, I'm going to have to look at some of them. As you know, it's sort of a semi-local election. I've been watching it. I've been seeing the ads.
I would appreciate it as a Virginia voter.
Who do you like of the group? Who do you like?
The whole ticket, sir.
All of them? You like them? All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll take a very strong look.
Appreciate
Okay.
that.
For you, I'm going to look.
Secretary Kennedy's panel on vaccine changed
Yeah.
its broad recommendations on COVID-19 vaccines today. Are you comfortable with that change, or would you like to see Americans take the vaccines that were developed under your tenure?
Yeah. Well, the vaccines, according to a lot of people, and if you look at charts, have had a tremendous, Operation Warp Speed. It was, just according to just about everybody, was one of the greatest things that any president has ever done in this country. So we're very proud of it. I'm very proud of it. I'm also very proud of
I need to look into Warp Speed.
things that came out of, all of the labs.
Actually, where's my notebook? Hold on. Can you grab it for me if you could? Thank you, and I appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Okay. Got my notebook. Looking into Operation Warp Speed. Is that what he said? Sound like it'd be something to do with the whatever the fucking space shit is.
All of the research that we've done, So I don't know exactly what the final determination is, but I had the vaccine. I was very happy with it. Here I am, right? Here I am.
Let me see what a vaccination is. So it's interesting that he's before we move on. It's interesting that he's happy with vaccines that were developed. Excuse me, with the same technology that was used to develop the vaccine we used for C-19. He's happy to take a vaccine created under his own regime under when he was president. But if it was developed under Biden's using the same technology, it's a no-go. It's a double standard.
No, I put him in there because I want to have opposite views. That's okay. I think we're going to have something very, very big coming up soon on autism. Autism is totally out of control. And one of the biggest...
Oh, God. Okay, so this is what you're saying.
Important things that, in my opinion, I had to do is to see what's going on with autism. And we're going to have a news conference early next week on autism. And I think you're going to see some things that are amazing that we've learned that somebody else wouldn't have learned. It's out of control, autism, out of control. And I think we maybe have the reason why.
But is Bobby Kennedy going too far and unwinding?
Well, I don't know. He's saying for older
things about
people.
your vaccine?
Yeah, he's saying for older people. A lot of people agree with that. And but I can tell you this: Operation Warp Speed, one of the greatest things a president has ever done for this country. And you can say the world, because when we came up with that vaccine, the whole world opened up. But I
gotta look into Operation Warp Speed and see what vaccine he's fucking talking about.
And I want the facts, but I also look at facts from Pfizer, where they spent a lot of money, and the other drug companies, they spent a lot of money on finding out the results after the fact, and the results were amazingly good. Yeah, please.
That's not how that works. So whenever drug companies are working on new drugs or vaccines or treatments, whatnot, they have to first develop it. Two, they have to test it, and there's numerous steps in testing before getting it okay for to use on people. So they do test it. They test it before they put it out to the public and make sure that it works and that there's minimal side effects and risk to health. Because if a vaccine is more likely to cause or a vaccine prototype is more likely to cause more harm or equal harm to what it's trying to cure or reverse or get rid of, then it's a zero sum. It's a zero sum vaccine. The purpose of vaccines is not to create a zero sum, it's to have a positive effect on whomever they're treating. So if they or a positive effect on as many people as possible. If the if you have a rare genetic condition or a something that affects let's say 1% of the population, and it adversely affects their health in a way that makes them more likely to have a heart attack by whatever increment you can pick, where you can overshoot and be it's a 90% chance that people that 1% of the population who have this genetic condition will have a heart attack from this vaccine, but the other 99% have a almost 0% chance. Then they'll see that as still a net positive to push out, which in itself, I don't agree with putting out something that is going to adversely affect somebody's health, but at the same time, you're reducing the risk for 99% of the population from dying from something preventable. And with proper procedures for the stopping of the spreading of diseases and whatnot, you can still protect that other 1%. That's why we have the herd immunity concept. If 99% of people are treated and have the vaccine and are now immune to the effects of this virus. Even if, like, let's say 5% of the total, so of the total population, 99% have the vaccine. 5% of that 100% are naturally immune, but can still be are naturally immune to it. 2.5%, so half of that immune group, is immune, but instead of having their bodies naturally destroy whatever virus is, they simply just become a carrier for that virus. You can still follow like proper, like keeping your hands clean, wearing a mask if you're sick and whatnot, to stop that 1% who's over here, who's susceptible to the deadly effects of the vaccine. You can still do everything you can to stop them, that 1% that can't have the vaccine, from getting whatever it is, and then following proper treatments if they do get it. So it's preventable.
Israeli hostages addressed to you. One is a widow of one that died, and these are people who were freed thanks to you. But they're actually encouraging you to force a ceasefire, force Netanyahu to a ceasefire, and they didn't address it to him because
I went off topic there. I'm sorry. I went on my fucking rant.
they're worried that the hostages who are still.
I'm acting like we're back in quarantine with C-19.
Well, they might be. They also, maybe they'll be freed because of that. You know, you never know how it's going to look. War, I was saying, is war.
All right, what was he talking about? Because apparently I went off on a little bit of tangent. Okay, we're talking about Israel's hostages.
The
Okay.
results were amazingly good.
Mr. President,
Yeah, please.
I'm wondering if you've seen the video put out by former Israeli hostages addressed to you. One is a widow of one that died, and these are people who were freed thanks to you. But they're actually encouraging you to force a ceasefire, force Netanyahu to a ceasefire, and they didn't address it to him because they think you're the one who might actually listen to them and get it done. They're worried that the hostages who are still there are more at risk if the war continues.
Well, they might be.
Okay. So I know, like, I have a hard time hearing these people. I've only got one headphone in though, so I'm not sure how everybody else is hearing them. So the question was, what does Trump think about the former Israeli prisoners or hostages? Say hostages because they were treated a lot worse than fucking prisoners. Palestinians who essentially created a message to President Trump asking him to force a ceasefire between Israel and Gaza. Going into detail, like one of them is a single mother, another one had their mother die by the hand of the IDF, and all that shit.
Also, maybe they'll be freed because of that. You know, you never know how it's going to look. War, I was saying, is war. A lot of strange things happen. A lot of results take place that you would never think were going to happen. As you know, I was able to get most of the hostages out. We're down to 20, and we have 32
That you know of.
dead people. You know that. We have 32, maybe more, 38, but between 32 and 38 people that were dead, mostly young people. And I've dealt with some of the parents.
What is he talking about? Is he saying that 32 to 38 people died in Israeli custody? What the fuck is he talking about? Because it's a lot fucking more.
All our Americans out, as you know, but now we're talking about mostly Israelis. But I dealt with parents. I spoke to.
He's not talking about the Houthis, you fucking, he's not talking about Hamas, you fucking dumbass. He's talking about the Palestinian people that Israel has. They're calling you for a ceasefire, and he's talking about like how Hamas has whomever. Like, he doesn't know how to fucking stay on the fucking point of the question. If it's going to, like, here's the thing: the right wants to defend Israel, and they don't care about Palestine. They don't care about the people in Gaza. So of course he's going to talk about it from more of like an Israeli perspective.
Parents, and they want the body of their son, I believe in almost all cases sons, but they want the body of their cherished, beautiful son. They want the body back as much as though he were alive. It's so sad to see. But I've dealt with the mothers and fathers. Please, sir, please, the body of my son. They know he's dead, and they just want him back. They want him back as much as though he's alive. I mean, it's very terrible. And
I don't know what he's trying to say here. He's trying to pull at the heartstrings of whoever's watching. Like, I'm pretty sure that everybody in Gaza who has their father, their mother, their son, their daughter, their cousin, their niece, their nephew, their aunt, their uncle, their fucking dog, shot by the IDF. They want their family's body back too, so they can grieve, mourn, and give them a proper burial. But when they go and try and retrieve the body of their relative, the IDF fucking shoots them too. So I mean, what the fuck are you saying? A lot of fucking nothing.
very close to 40 bodies that are included in the whole thing. But we have
Tens of thousands of Palestinians.
living. It might be a little bit less because a couple of things. Look,
Close to 40 Israeli bodies, tens of thousands of Palestinians.
young people don't die. Okay, they just don't die. They can take a lot, but a lot of people die.
What? Hold on. sorry. To be the president of the United States, and to say that young people don't die when you have an epidemic of mass shooters inside of your own fucking schools of your own fucking country is, I would say, hilarious, but the fact that children are dying, that young people are dying, is not funny. It is the epitome of I don't care unless I can make it political and make me look good.
Died in these horrible tunnels. They're mostly in the tunnels. I know a lot about it. I got
What fucking tunnels?
But I always said the last 20, when you get down to the last 10 or 20, it's going to be very tough. It's a nasty situation. You can't forget October 7th, but it's a nasty
Oh my
situation.
God.
Terrible.
Yeah. Suck on Benny's dick more, please.
Included this week that Israel committed genocide in Gaza. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I haven't seen that. I'm looking at it, but did anybody commit genocide on October 7th?
No, you fucking nitwit. Oh my fucking God.
At the highest level. That was murder,
Hold on.
genocide.
He said, hold on. This is how you know he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about and he doesn't understand what fucking language is. He just said that October 7th, what happened to a group of Israeli people in Israel at the hands of Hamas on October 7th was a genocide. That's not a genocide. That, by technicality, would be a terrorist attack. Is he going to call 9/11 a genocide next? Because if that's what we're comparing apples and tomatoes to, I mean, we'll fucking throw an onion in there while you're fucking at it. God damn.
You can call it whatever you want, but little babies were chopped in half. Arms were cut.
Is by Israeli people.
That's genocide. That's genocide also, I guess, right?
Yeah, he doesn't know what the fuck genocide is. It's the pull at the heartstring. It's let me fucking disproportionately try and make a point that has no fucking grounding in reality or proof. But okay.
Fee from that deal, what is that fee?
Well, it hasn't been fully negotiated, but we'll get something from the standpoint that we worked hard. We put up a lot. We spent a lot of money on letting this come and letting this. It's a very, very big deal. It's a very powerful deal, and the United States really. I see it. I mean, people were saying, "Save TikTok, save TikTok." So
This is the guy who, again, wants to turn Gaza into a fucking Trump Israeli-sponsored fucking strip mall. Like the entirety of the Gaza Strip, he wants to make it one giant fucking just strip mall for himself and Benny.
Can be very proud that they were able to get that started. And so I very much appreciate President Xi's working with us on that, very much.
What comes next after designating Antifa?
Well, we have others that we're going to designate too, but we're going to look at the people that funded Antifa, see who they are, where they came from, and why they did. Have you
Here's the thing, and I've seen people react to this many times. Let me actually change. I'm going to make myself big screen for a second. Can I make myself bigger? Give me 1 second. I'm going to be as clear as I possibly can. I'm going to zoom in on myself real quick. Okay. We're going to have a serious little talky talk for just a second, all right? I don't know why I keep adjusting by that and not by the fucking corner like I'm supposed to be. Because I'm not smart, realistically. Okay. Here's the thing. Real quick. Look me in my eye. I'll look at the camera. You look me in my eye real quick, okay? Antifa is not an organization. It is not a collective group of people. It is a way of thinking.
The fact that you even have to explain it.
It is, it's a political ideology. It is a stance of being anti-fascists. That's what Antifa means. It is not an organization. It is taking a stance against fascism. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Back to whatever the fuck this fucking hillbilly has to say. Hellbilly.
seen Portland at all? If you take a look at what's happening in Portland, it's, I mean, this has been going on for years. It's just people.
He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about now.
Crazy. We're going to stop that very soon. We have to get rid of a couple of other problems first. We're going to get rid of the problems in Memphis where you can't even walk a block without getting shot. We're going to get rid of the problems in Chicago.
Here's the thing. After Hurricane Ida back in, when was Ida 21? Yeah. I know. I don't know why I asked the first one. Time by this when the hurricane that we had to leave New Orleans from was. It was in 2021. I know it's 2021. When we left New Orleans, Louisiana, in the wake of Hurricane Ida in 2021, we went to Memphis, Tennessee. We stayed there for about 3 days before continuing up further north. There's I had no problems walking around town and like different parts of the city because I wanted to like look around and see what was going on. You can okay, we were there for 3 days. And as much walking around I did in those 3 days that we were in Memphis, Tennessee after Hurricane Ida, I have 0 gunshot wounds. I have, and I'll even throw on there, I have 0 stab wounds, I got 0 bruises, I got 0 nicks, cuts, I didn't even stub my toe in the 3 days I was in Memphis after Hurricane Ida. So what the fuck he's talking about, I have no goddamn clue.
Chicago's a great city and we have to save it. We have to save it. I told you I had the head of the Union Pacific Railroad in my office, and I said, so what do you think? You go to every city, you have railroads in you are the biggest railroad, beautiful railroad, he's a great guy. I said, what do you think? He said, sir, save Chicago. Don't let it go down. Save it. The way he said it was so meaningful to me. It was so like terrible. In a way, it was terrible. Save Chicago. You know, who would ever think that we'd be sitting here talking about saving Chicago?
I'm so sorry.
Chicago's a great city. They have a terrible mayor. Terrible. He's at like 5% approval rating. He's an incompetent.
Then how the fuck did he get voted in as mayor? What the fuck?
In my opinion, he's incompetent. 11 people get shot, and he says crime isn't a good shot. I mean, they're losing 4, 5, 6 people a week, getting killed by bullets, by knives. And then he says how wonderful it is, Chicago. So, well, it might be wonderful for him. I think they're afraid. Look, he's not a stupid guy. I really believe they're afraid to say, politically, I guess, from an ideology standpoint.
I don't think any of those numbers are right. I'll go look it up, but I don't think any of those numbers are right.
He is afraid to say the fact that they have a very unsafe, very dangerous city. He should say, I'm going to call President Donald Trump, and I'm going to ask him to send in the troops, to send in the National Guard and clean this hellhole up. Because
Why would you invite, hold on, why would you, as somebody who wants states' rights, as a right-wing, pro-states' right advocate, want to have the federal government come in and take over states unless you wanted to consolidate power?
Again, I'll tell you what, Washington, D.C. is a great place again. It's booming, and the restaurants are booming. And 6 months ago, 7 months ago, nobody could go outside. And even just walking around the White House, people here are thanking me for what I've done. They're thanking me. They're saying thank you. And I almost know what they mean because they can walk to work. And even when they took Uber and they took other forms of transportation, they felt unsafe because the car was hijacked while they're in there. They take a car, and it's being hijacked as they get into the car. And they did that for safety. And now
I can't look that up. Crime stats in Chicago.
People out of career criminals have been taken out of Washington, D.C. And we weren't very nice.
No, because there's one sitting right there at the office.
What do you think of that rail merger? Did you discuss it with the Union Pacific?
I did discuss it, and I don't want to make a comment on it, but Union Pacific is a great railroad, and they want to add a railroad that had a mistake at a place very close to my heart. You know, a lot of people say that that was a place where I got off to a very good start. It was a rough thing that happened. Well, they're trying to buy that railroad that had the problem, and it sounds good to me, to be honest with you. Sounds good to me. I'm a very big fan
I have no idea what he's talking about right now.
The head of the railroad, the head of the Union Pacific. He started as a very low on the totem pole, started his job very low and became the chairman of the company over a 45-year period. But I asked him about different cities. He said, St. Louis is tough. He sort of stops at many of them. New Orleans. We have to save New Orleans.
All right, what do you have to say? I want to hear what he has to say about New Orleans.
And we're going to be going in quiet. You're really obnoxious.
I'm not obnoxious.
Oh, he said that to a woman. He said that to a woman.
I'm trying to ask you, what about your plans?
You are
for
really
Memphis?
obnoxious.
I'm not obnoxious, but
Okay.
I am asking, what are your
Okay.
plans for Memphis? Many people.
I'm not going to talk to you until I call on you.
What are your plans
So,
for Memphis?
who else? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to sell this free speech.
So he's done answering the question. He hears a question asking about his plans for Memphis, decides to disregard it.
So, who else? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to sell this free speech question because you said that you restored free speech in America.
Yeah.
Is that free speech including for people who are harshly critical of you, for your political opponents, for people who say things?
Shook his head no there.
Immune
Treat
to it.
you unfairly?
I've become immune to it. There's never been a person that's had more unfair publicity than me, and that's why your network paid me $15 million, or $16 million, I believe, to be exact, George Slopadopoulos. And that's why CBS paid me a lot of money, too. And that's why I sued the New York Times 2 days ago for a lot of money. Because I'm winning. I mean, I'm winning the cases. And the reason I'm winning is because you're guilty, John. You're guilty. ABC is a terrible network, a very unfair network, and you should be ashamed of yourself. NBC is equally bad. I don't know who's worse. I think they're equally bad.
Well, this is how fascism, right? Pay attention here. This is how fascism influences your opinion of media, of news. of accurate reporting. They sue them to try and silence them. When that doesn't work, they censor them. They discredit them in the eyes of the public and try and make it out where you've been reporting lies. You've been telling falsehoods, making exaggerations, defaming me. But I'm winning my cases against you to try and sue you into silence. Instead of taking criticism, if it didn't affect him, he would not be suing them. Even if it was for the fact that he just wants their money, right? He does just want their money, and that's why he's doing it, but also because it makes him look back. If somebody were not kowtowing to him, kissing his ass, he would be suing them as well.
And, for you to stand there and act so innocent and ask me a question like that, but look, you paid a big price because you were dishonest, John. The reason I won that lawsuit was because you were dishonest. You were proven to be dishonest, and so you can't sit back and just say, "Oh, what do you think?
I'm so sorry.
Like you're some wonderful person." You're not a wonderful person, frankly.
Neither are you. You 47-time convicted felon and liable rapist.
Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about something that's going to reduce our taxes greatly. That's going to hopefully bring some great people into our country. As you know, right now nobody's coming in because we've succeeded in closing. We've closed the border very successfully. I think you will agree. We had nobody come in for the last few months. I mean, it was actually said zero. Even I can't believe zero, but the numbers are put out by very impartial people or people that have a tendency to be on the left. And they actually said for the last 3 months, nobody came in. We have a very strong border. It's a closed border. People are coming into our country, but they're coming in.
This is days after a construction site in the U.S. for a South Korean business firm was raided by ICE. So there are people who have been coming into the country. There is no way in hell, with how much propaganda there is out there about the U.S., that there are no people trying to come into the United States for 3 months. Hold on, I have to adjust how I'm sitting. I'm probably going to have to adjust my camera as well, so give me a second. I don't want my head cut off in the image. Okay, no, y'all can see me fine. That's good. There's no way in hell that for 3 months you've had zero people coming to the country. Because one, tourism is still booming in New York and California and Florida, in Louisiana, like everywhere that there's a tourist port town, or in Texas where you have people flying into the country, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Philly, all these places that are major like port or like seaport or airport cities. There are still people coming in from outside of the country. There are international flights coming in and out of the country at all fucking times. And you can say like, oh, well, isn't anybody important? South Korean business investors, Chinese business investors, European business investors, Canadian, Mexican, South American, African business investors. There are people from all over the world, people with money coming into the United States, even within that 3-month period, at all times, to invest in businesses or to check up on the businesses that they have inside of the United States.
Legally, it's a beautiful thing to watch. But we are doing something where, rather than coming into the border, 25 million people came into our country during Biden. One of the saddest things. The worst thing, look, he was horrible in inflation. He was horrible in just about everything you could be.
Yeah, because they inherited your fucking economic policies, you fucking dumbass.
It was a horrible administration. He was the worst president in the history of our country, and we have to mop it up. the hardest thing that we have to do is to get rid of the criminals that he allowed into our country from prisons, from mental institutions, gang members, drug dealers, and we're getting them out, and we're getting them out fast, and we're making.
It's really interesting that he's making this all out to be, because it's like he's framing it that Biden specifically allowed these people in, or he allowed, if not the way that people who are going to be a bit more critical of it, he made it easier for them to get in. He didn't change any of the immigration policies, right? He cracked down a bit. Sorry, my phone's getting on the charge. I have to charge that up. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, chat. He cracked down a bit on. He actually did crack down a bit on immigration. He just wasn't as obsessed with it as Trump was in his term before that. He wasn't. He was even more lenient than Obama was, so far as I'm aware, with immigration. What's going on now is you've essentially given Trump has given ICE a $2 billion investment in deporting, specifically now, even going so far as, I'll bring up the article because I have it up here because I have to send it off for my asylum shit anyway. Yes, I am human. Thank you for noticing that. Yeah. But the American Immigration Council.org, right? This is like the difference, like, because Biden and Obama, Biden to a more degree than Obama, honestly, had a bit more respect for human decency. This is taking a second. Here we go. How the Supreme Court's latest decision clears the way for racial profiling during immigration raids, right? So it was like last week, right? Supreme Court, this week's Supreme Court issued a decision that clears the way for racial profiling during immigration raids and sweeps. You can see the Trump administration rapidly expand racially discriminatory ICE practices that have already seen terrorized families, workplaces, and communities around the country for months. Thanks to the Supreme Court, these raids are likely to sweep in the United States citizens and people with lawful statuses. Because it's not just undocumented migrants that they're picking up. They're also picking up documented migrants for minor infractions, like fucking 5 mile over the speed limit tickets, gathering them up and deporting them. 6-3 vote, the case known as Vasquez Perdomo versus Noam. The Supreme Court granted emergency request to the Trump administration, temporarily halted the LA judge's order that banned roving patrols from snatching people off California streets and questioning them based on how they look, what language they speak. I almost went into Spanish, que lingüística, que habla, what they do, or even where they happen to be. Both Los Angeles Federal Court and the Ninth Circuit Appeals Court has ruled these actions amounted to illegal racial profiling. Monday, Supreme Court issued a brief unsigned order that overturns the decision. This gives immigration agents a green light to once again stop anyone they guess to be here illegally. Highlighted word, guess to be here illegally. Don't even know it. Even if central reason the stop was race. This endorses ICE and Border Patrol targeting Latinos as they observe in Los Angeles, speaking Spanish or working in low-income jobs, and then demanding their papers. Justice Sotomayor, one of the 3 justices who dissented, raised a clear alarm in her dissent. She warned the decision risks turning Latinos into second-class citizens. In her words, we should not have to live in a country where the government can seize anyone who looks Latino, speaks Spanish, and appears to work a low-wage job, rather than stand idly by while our Constitution infringes on laws. I dissent. So W. Sotomayor. Should have live in a country. Yeah. Firstly, this order is not a final ruling, but it strongly signals the Supreme Court will not uphold strict constitutional limits on the authority of immigration agents and stop questioning people they suspect to be immigrants. As the Trump administration ramps up immigration raids in other cities like Chicago, we can expect federal agents to be emboldened by this decision. Concerns that U.S. citizens and lawful resident immigrants may be stopped and questioned on the basis of race, already leading people to avoid public events like upcoming Mexican Independence Day celebrations in Chicago. There's nothing that's something different. With ICE being given the green light once again to target Latinos, important that Americans stand up, make their voices heard, and the message is it's not the country we want to be. So that's where we are there.
Members, drug dealers, and we're getting them out, and we're getting them out fast, and we're making America.
So all these gang members, drug dealers, criminals. He's talking about people who go 5 miles over the speed limit. He's talking about people who jaywalk. He's talking about people who do minor nonviolent offenses. And they're not a naturally born citizen in the United States. They're here on green cards or visas or something like that. Is he talking about the undocumented migrants too? Yeah, he's talking about the undocumented migrants too. But it goes beyond that. He doesn't care about the immigration status of Latina people. He just wants to make a white country
Safe again, great again, but we're making America safe again, and it's an honor to do it. But this is an unforced error. What they've done is just an unforced error. So I'm going to ask Howard to speak. Howard's done a fantastic job, as you know, Secretary of Commerce. And I'm going to ask Howard and Will. Will, could you just give a quick description of what we're doing and what we're signing, et cetera? And
yes, sir.
I will do that. Go ahead.
We have 2 items for your attention today, sir. A major focus of your administration has been shifting the conversation and shifting the policy dynamics around the issue of immigration, closing the border, preventing illegal immigration, but also, as is the case with the executive order in front of you, opening new pathways for truly extraordinary people to come contribute to America instead of taking away from it. So this executive order is entitled the Gold Card. It will set up a new pathway, a new visa pathway for foreigners of extraordinary ability who are committed to supporting the United States for a payment of $1 million to the U.S. Treasury, or if a corporation is sponsoring them, $2 million by that corporation, and that will give...
I'm sorry. I was under depression last time that I briefly went over this clip, that it was $100,000 that they had to pay into the U.S. Treasury to get the Trump Gold Card. I was wrong, and I apologize for being wrong in my misunderstanding and not fully watching that entire segment. An individual who wants to come to the U.S., who wants the Trump Gold Card, can pay $1 million into the U.S. Treasury to get their gold card, to start up a business, to start investing in American business as a foreign national. Alternatively, a business can sponsor an individual by paying $2 million into the U.S. Treasury to get the Trump Gold Card. What the fuck?
Give them access to expedited visa treatment.
Expedited visa treatment.
Gold Card program.
And one of the biggest problems we have is that people, they go to the best schools and they do great and they get great marks, and then they're thrown out of the country. You're not allowed to stay. This way, a corporation...
Who's throwing them out of the fucking country? You are. You say the brilliant, bright students go to schools here, get a brilliant education, and they graduate, and in the middle, like right after, they get thrown out of the country. You're the one throwing them out of the country. If not, they're going back to their own country because they're taking the education that they got in the U.S. and using it to disenfranchise the country of their national origin. but you want them to stay and invest business. How about stop threatening people with ICE as your Gestapo, and people will be more likely to stay and invest in businesses here instead of being like, oh no, fuck this country, I'm going back home where I won't be fucking arrested, assaulted, abducted, tortured, and maybe killed simply because I'm not a fucking white man.
We'll be able, sort of like a signing bonus in baseball or football, corporation will be able to get that.
The corporation will give them a signing bonus in the form of a gold card, a Trump gold card visa. That's not how that works. Hold on. What company, unless you're having somebody come out to be the CEO or the CFO, is going to sponsor somebody $2 million? You know what situations or circumstances cause that to be? Nepotism. I'll repeat it. The only reason why a company would spend $2 million sponsoring somebody to stay in country to be a higher up in their company, like on the board, the CEO or the CFO, is because of nepotism. Or espionage.
Them to stay in the country, and I think it's going to be tremendously successful. Howard, would you say a few words about it, please?
Sure. So historically, the employment-based green card program let in 281,000 people a year. And those people, on average, earned $66,000 a year on average, and they were 5 times more likely to go on assistance programs of the government.
Okay. So let's address that real quick. The average, how many people did he say fucking came in?
Employment-based green card program let in 281,000.
281. So they let in 281,000 people a year. Do this fucking math real quick. I'm gonna write this shit fucking down. Okay, where's my pen? Literally just had it. All right, 281,000 people a year. 281,000 people a year. Their average income was $66,000. Right. So there are people. So that means that's like the middle, roughly what everybody made. Right. So there are people who made a lot more than that, which brought that number up, although not as many. And there are probably the majority of people who make around that, if not less than that.
And those people, on average, earned $66,000 a year on average. And they were 5 times more likely to go on assistance programs of the government.
Okay, so they're 5 times more likely to go on assistance programs of the government. So let's use reason and logic to explain why that is such. In order to qualify for like a school visa or work visa, right? You have to have like a certain amount of like guaranteed income on a sponsorship, right? Typically. Even then, there are still statewide and federal benefits and assistance programs that you can apply for and receive access to if you are still finding yourself financially inadequate to provide for the needs of yourself or your family. These are the legal systems that we put in place, social welfare that we put in place to help people. And if you don't want people relying on social welfare, the social welfare programs of the government, either the state government or the federal government, put in policy, they put in order, they set up, they said yes to, the way that you solve that, stick with me here, stick with me here. The way that you solve people no longer being on social welfare and social programs to supplement their income, the way you stop that is by raising the minimum wage. Back to the video.
So we were taking in
I did hear about the rapture that's coming out tomorrow, yeah.
the bottom quartile, below the average American. It was illogical. The only country in the world that was taking in the bottom quartile. So what we are doing now,
The only country in the world taking in the bottom quarter of like the people. So I don't think we have to understand, or people need to get this through their thick fucking skulls, right? That the people who can afford or are eligible to come over here for better education or for better work or whatnot are typically of the upper middle class of the country that they come from. They're not the bottom of the barrel, but even other country they come from, in most cases, are going to be lower on the end here in the States. Because we don't know how to take care of our own people.
doing that. We're going to only take extraordinary people at the very top. Instead of
No more chances.
take
You want to better yourself with American education? Go fuck yourself.
the jobs from Americans. They're going to create businesses and create jobs for Americans. And this program will raise more than $100 billion for the Treasury.
So in order for this program to raise more than $100 billion, right? In order for this program to raise $100 billion, right? Okay, so one person is a $1 million investiture. 10 people is a $10 million investiture. 100 people is a $100 million investiture. So it's 1,000 for a billion, right? And it's 10,000 for 10 billion. And it's going to be 100,000 people if they want that if they want that $100 billion investiture. So they have to have either 100,000 people invest $1 million each into the Treasury, into the United States Treasury to get their Trump Gold Card, to build a business here in the United States, or 50,000 businesses sponsoring an individual to go to whatever, to start up, to bring their company's business into the States. Are there that many people who are going to drop $1 million? No. Speculatively, no. Are there that many businesses that are going to drop $2 million for that? Speculatively, no. I'd be surprised if they make more than $100 million. I'd be surprised if they make more than $100 million off this program.
Of the United States of America.
Which we'll use for cutting taxes and paying down debt. We think it's going to be very successful. Essentially, we're having people come in, people that in many cases, I guess, are very successful or whatever, and they're coming in, they're going to spend a lot of money to come in, they're going to pay as opposed to walking over the borders, and they may come from jails, prisons, and everything else. These people don't. They're very productive people. And they're going to pay $1 million. A corporation's going to pay $2 million. And it's going to raise billions of dollars, billions and billions of dollars, which is going to go to reduce taxes, pay off debt, and other good things. So I think it's going to be very successful.
Mr. President,
What?
Are the big techs on board with this decision?
I wish you'd speak more clearly. I really do. Give it to me again.
Are the big techs, the senior
The fucking xenophobia is wild to this guy because she's speaking with an accent. He's asking her to speak more clearly. This is the same woman, or next to, I think this is actually a different woman, but it's from the same side of the room. The woman that he essentially insulted earlier because he was done with this question he was rendering, and she wanted to ask him about what he still hasn't answered her question because I don't think she's asked it. Again, what is his plans for Chicago? What is his plans for Memphis?
Big tax?
Tech companies. Big tech companies.
Yeah, big tech. Yeah, it's big tech. It's every company. It's big tech. It's big tech. It's big everything. Okay, it's a company. I said it's not a tech company. It's tech companies and everything else. It's companies having a hard time getting people to be able to stay in the country. It's very difficult. Now, if you want to walk through the border, you can have no problem. People say, well, the best way to come in is walk right through the border. But
so, people who normally get like work visas and whatnot, right? Here's the fucking thing. Okay. Now in the U.S., can get sponsored for a work visa, which all they have to do is guarantee a certain amount of income, and then pay whatever like $1,000 it is to have that person come and work for the company right now, right? And then that person pays into the tax system, right? That's easy. And you'll get more people in that way. But now instead, he wants companies or individuals to pay $1 million for like an individual person, or $2 million for a company, to do the exact same thing and expect them to go into a higher position, which means less taxpayers. There will be an initial infusion, but there's no incentive. There is zero incentive for companies to pay $1 million to have somebody from a different country come in here, or for countries outside of the U.S. to pay the U.S. $2 million to have somebody come in and start up a business here. There's zero incentive for it.
can't do that anymore because under our administration, the border is totally closed. You can only come in if you come in legally, and that's the way it's been, and that's the way it should be.
People are still coming in undocumentedly.
People out of the country that are here from prisons, from jails, from mental institutions, and even insane asylums, people that are crazy. We're taking them out of the country. We're getting them out of the country because you can't have a country like that. And I tell you, Christie and Tom Homan and all of the people that have worked so hard on this, they've done an unbelievable job. And I think we're getting great marks for it. People feel safe. Washington, D.C. is just the beginning. We brought the numbers down in Chicago a little bit by having the FBI in there for the last 5 months. We brought the numbers down in Memphis a little bit, but now we're going for the big one. Now we're going to go for the big one. But we set ourselves up very well in Chicago, Memphis, New Orleans a little bit, going in early just to see what was happening. We study it. We're studying the site. It's sort of like war. I mean, I hate to tell you, it's like war. Some of these people are really bad. They're really, really sick people. Dangerous people. They're killers. They're murderers. Drug dealers. And you can't have it. You can't have a country like that.
Don't forget, dealing drugs is now a capital offense.
It's so beautiful
in the United States.
Washington, D.C. that people
A drug dealer is now a capital offense.
are walking down the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And they go.
Well, that's what the bombing of that one speedboat off of the coast of Venezuela in international waters was about. Simply, like, being in possession of drugs is now a capital offense, according to the U.S.
And you are too. And half of you were mugged. I mean, I don't know if she's here now. I don't see her, but some people were badly mugged that were reporters. 2 of the people right standing in the back of the room were mugged, and not going to have that anymore. And if you look at the crime stats in Washington, D.C., you have a safe place again. They were afraid to go to a restaurant because the restaurant would be held up while they're having dinner. And so they'd be mugged.
This is him being upset that while he went out to dinner last week, he was protested to his face by a group of people at the restaurant. That's what he's upset about, and that's what he's ranting about right now. But he's up playing it like they were out to get him. Yeah. All right.
And assuming they escaped the mugging, they go to the restaurant and then they're held up. This is how bad it's been. Yep.
Follow up on the visa question. I think this may be the next thing that you're signing, but for the H-1B visa action that
Yeah,
you're doing,
that's going to be next. We'll talk about that.
you're very close to the technology
Yeah.
CEOs. Are they concerned about that?
I think they're going to be very happy. Everyone's going to be happy. And we're going to be able to keep people in our country that are going to be very productive people. And in many cases, these companies are going to pay a lot of money for that. And they're very happy about it.
And they're not going to pay $1 million or $2 million.
Okay. My friend, why don't you keep that, okay?
Thank you.
That's such a good job. Okay. It's phase one. John, are you happy? Pitch. Okay, let's go.
Thank you, Mr. President. One of the most abused visa systems in our current immigration system has been the H-1B non-immigrant visa program. This is supposed to allow highly skilled laborers who work in fields that Americans don't work in to come into the United States of America. What this proclamation will do is raise the fee that companies pay to sponsor H-1B applicants.
This is what I was talking about. This is directly what I was fucking talking about a minute ago. It makes it harder for companies to sponsor visas for people. So he's saying the jobs that Americans don't do. What he's talking about is farm work. What he's talking about is all the dirty jobs that or jobs in in factories that people in the U.S. don't want to do because they're supposedly below them, right? That's the jobs that they're talking about. The ones that have bad working conditions. Job like Amazon, which still is predominantly occupied by marginalized people, more so than anyone else. They're now going to raise the fees on that and make it harder for them to bring in people from outside the country to do that, so that the Americans who don't want the fucking jobs have to do them.
Applicants.
Which, by the way, if you're in the United States, do the job. Stop complaining. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, like the Republicans say. No, I mean, so I could give people opportunities, man.
To $100,000. This will ensure that the people they're bringing in are actually very highly skilled and that they're not replaceable by American workers. So it'll protect American workers, but ensure that companies have a pathway to hire truly extraordinary people and bring them to the United States
We
to
need
work.
workers. We need workers. We need great workers. And this pretty much ensures that that's what's going to happen. I think, Sean, do you agree with that?
Well, they're $100,000 per year. So the whole idea is no more will these big tech companies or other big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee. So it's just not economic.
$100,000. That's just 10% of the the Trump gold card. They still have to pay $100,000. So what we're saying is no more H-1B visas. What the flying fuck?
If you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land, train Americans, stop bringing in people to take our jobs. That's the policy here, $100,000 a year for H-1B visas, and all of the big companies are on board. We've spoken to them about the gold card.
They love it. They love it. They really love it. They need it. Go ahead, Sean.
Mr. President, it seems like there's two categories of visa programs. The H-1B, a lot of people believe take American jobs, and then the gold card and programs like EB-5 that add value and jobs to America. Is that sort of how you look at the visa program?
Well, ideally, look, if somebody's got the people, they're not going to want to spend $100,000 as an example in your second category. So it's not
Right, he's basically doing away with H-1B visas
jobs. We need certain skill jobs that
or HB1.
but they won't be taking jobs because, you know, ideally the people aren't going to want to. They're not going to.
Investing in America.
Right, that's right.
So that's what I'm asking.
They're really investing
It seems
in
like
America.
you have two categories. One, Secretary Lutnick's, the gold card and EB-5 that create jobs, add investment, and then there's other ones that seem to take, you know, whether it's a J1 and O or an H-1B that take U.S. jobs.
Yeah, it's pretty correct. I would say that's a correct assessment. But the main thing is we're going to have great people coming in, and they're going to be paying. I mean, it's wonderful to say, oh, gee, this is. We took in 25 million people. That look. Many criminals, jails were opened from Venezuela, from many other countries, and they were let out of jail and poured into our country, our poor country, how it suffered with this stupid president that we had and the stupid people that surrounded him right around this desk, these liberal, crazy people that have destroyed, they could have destroyed. If we didn't win this election, our country would have been dead.
Our economy is actually on the rise under Biden. It was doing great.
Country was dead. Think of it, and I've said this, man. The king of Saudi Arabia said, your country was dead 1 year. They thought it was dead. This country couldn't have survived another year of those people running it. And now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. Think of that. And this is going to help. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. This will be taken in the gold.
You're not going to.
Taking in hundreds of billions of dollars.
You're not going to.
Companies will be able to keep some people that they need. You know, they need people of expertise.
They're just doing away with immigration.
And I think it's going to be a fantastic thing. And we're going to take that money and we're going to reduce taxes. We're going to reduce debt. We have a very, very strong country. We assuming everything works out great with the lawsuit that we have a lawsuit that's inspired by foreign countries that ripped us off for 25 years. But assuming we win that, we hopefully win it in the.
I'm not surprised by that. My partner was just saying that apparently a lot of people who attended the Charlie Kirk Memorial yesterday had, because there was so much overflow of people trying to actually be there in attendance. A lot of people had their cars towed yesterday. So goody for the businesses that go into towing cars. Goody for that city.
Supreme Court of the United States, we have a country that no stopping us. We're rich, we'll be rich, we can take care of poor people, we can take care of our military, we can take care of...
The poor people that your political correspondents on Fox Media want you to kill, but okay.
Everything. We can take care of beyond the country, we can help take care of the world. That we don't, it'll just be the same struggle that we've had for years where other countries charged us tariffs and they ripped us off. Our country has been ripped off more than any country in the history of the world. And now we're doing what we have to do. We're taking in billions and billions of dollars.
There's a term for what he's doing, baby. What's the abuse tactic where it's poor me, pity me? To try and keep somebody involved with them. Sympathy. It's a sympathy play. Sympathy ploy. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Levels that nobody has ever seen, trillions of dollars. And we're using it to reduce debt, we're using it to reduce taxes, The great big beautiful bill is a big tax reduction. It's being paid
For the rich.
tariff.
The big beautiful bill is a tax reduction for the rich. For anybody who makes less than $100,000 a year, which is the vast majority of Americans, it's a higher tax rate for you.
And people are paying a
You
lot
pay more taxes.
money in taxes. They're being, think of it, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. It's an unbelievable phenomenon. It really is. It's the golden age. We're making it the golden age. Without the tariffs, it would be impossible. And China, for years, charged us tariffs, and they continue to do it, and so do other countries. Most countries, they charge us. They were ripping. Look, the European Union, as you know, I get along very well with them, but they ripped us off so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything. Now, the European Union is paying us $950 billion, and they're paying us $750 billion to buy our energy, and they're okay with it. They signed the agreement. You know, it's not like anybody forced them to do it. They're okay with us. Tariffs are making our country very rich again, and we'll be able to take care of
They're
our
just
debt.
taking it from the people, man.
Take care of our taxes, lower taxes. We'll be able to take care of Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security.
Increase tariff so you can lower taxes for everybody who's rich. That's his plan. It's reverse Robin Hooding. He's stealing from the poor to give to the rich. You know what we call that? Fucking oligarchy.
Security. We're going to be a rich country again. Without tariffs, we'd be in very big trouble.
H-1Bs are sometimes used by people already in the country legally on other visas or student visas. Does this apply to them or to renewals, or does it only apply to people applying for the first time from abroad?
Renewals, first times, the company needs to decide, do they want, is that person valuable enough to have $100,000 a year payment to the government, or they should head home and they should go hire an American. The whole idea, it's annual, and it's for total, it can be a total of 6 years. So $100,000 a year, so either the person is very valuable.
They're making it fiscally irresponsible for businesses to hire immigrants.
American, and that's the point of immigration.
To sponsor visas.
Americans, and make sure the people coming in are the top people. Stop the nonsense of letting people just come into this country on these visas that were given away for free. President is crystal clear. Valuable people for America.
So on top of paying somebody, hang on, let's just. So on top of giving somebody a salary of over $100,000 a year, you now have to pay the government $100,000 a year to sponsor their visa, which is probably in most cases either doubling or close to doubling, if not adding half their salary on top of what you would be paying for if they're in like a higher up managerial position.
Stop the nonsense.
And remember, the country,
Fee to America.
the country would rather not have to pay $100,000, but and they'd rather. How do you do that? You hire American. So there's an incentive to hire American, but there may be instances where it's better off doing through expertise or whatever it may be. But they're both unbelievable, whether it's a gold card or anything else that we talked about today.
I am not disagreeing with the statement of like hiring like the native-born people of the country. By all means, like employ more people that are from the that are native to the country that the business is from. We're in. I'm for it. But if you're just going to if you just want to do away with like immigration and having foreign workers come in, just fucking say it.
And that includes
Stop pussyfooting around the fucking talking point.
Our country has been decimated by bad people, very bad people, people that love crime. They love crime. Explain
Like
it
the
to them.
person in the White House
They don't
loves
want
crime.
Our military go in and save lives. But when you go and ask the people, do you mind having the National Guard come in if it meant safety? They look at the questioner like, what's wrong? What kind of a stupid question is that? Of course they do. We're going to have a safe country again. We're not going to have people shot, 11 people shot. Think of it. In Chicago, over a period of 6 or 7.
You know, it's another way of doing that, in which you don't have to like have the National Guard or whomever come. I'm just going to speak over him for a second. A way of ensuring that you don't have people shot because and having the National Guard sent in is you do gun reform. You do gun reform. You make firearms illegal or much more highly regulated in accordance with the Second Amendment, to where it's not just in the hands of some jag-off fucking civilian.
Think of it. What's happening to our country?
You don't have to demonize an entire group of people or people who aren't from the country, because guess what? The people who aren't from the country are the ones bringing in the fucking weapons.
We're doing unbelievably. We have the highest stock market.
It's people who are already in the country who are bringing in the weapons, the manufacturers of said weapons.
We're very simple. You know, they said, how'd you get elected? I got elected because I'm going to make America great again. That's what we're doing. We're making America great again. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys. I love you. Right there.
Thank you very much.
Guys. Thank you. Let's go right out this way. Thank you.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Oh, you really didn't want to talk to the press after that? That was it. That was it. Okay. I had my journal. Where'd I put it? Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay. So I know we wanted to talk about, or I said I was going to go over like what's happening with like, or what, looking at like Charlie Kirk's memorial and whatnot. Either that or we can talk about what happened in Nepal, and we can talk about what happened in Peru. I'm Peruvian. I want to talk about what happened in Peru. I want to dive into what happened in Peru. That's all I'm going to do. I'm actually we're going to do research together. No, I'm joking. I'll do that. I'll say that for another segment. Excuse me. Unless somebody has a link they want to share. Look at the videos about Charlie Kirk's life. In full. That's Sky News. Let's watch Sky News, I guess. Fox. Charlie Kirk's channel has 3 hours and 2 minutes of it. Let's watch Sky News, I guess.
It's like the end of an era.
Yay, ads! Hell.
I'm ready. I've had my bike a moment. Plus, it's free to sell on eBay and I got a really good price. Goodbye, biker girl.
Bye.
Okay, next.
When it's this easy to sell for free, you can't help but say when it's eBay.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pastor Rob McCoy.
Oh boy. I'm throwing down my journal. I'm probably have to look some of this shit up anyway.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming out to honor Charlie Kirk. God bless all of you and all of you tuning in online around the world. I know you're all wondering who is he and why is he here, and I'm asking myself the same question.
Asking why he's here.
I called him my friend. I was with Charlie about a little over 2 weeks ago in Korea as he was supporting the persecuted Christians over there, as they're raiding churches and imprisoning pastors. And he spoke to the youth there that now are chanting on the streets, "I am Charlie Kirk, standing for freedom," across that country.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Fact check the fuck out of that shit. He was just talking, whenever he was in Korea, he was talking about how there's like, he walked outside apparently late at night. It was like, there's no violence, there's no gangs, there's no drugs, no fucking firearms being shot in Korea. Yes, because firearms are illegal to own in Korea. You fucking nitwit. And they have better social welfare programs. You fucking nitwit.
Conversation with Charlie in the green room in Korea. He said something to me that he'd said a number of times. He said, he kept calling me his pastor, and I stopped him. I said, Charlie, since the president's gotten elected, your stock has risen through the stratosphere, and I don't see much.
Oh, why is a pastor talking about stocks?
Of you. I mean, he wasn't a very good congregant. He was on the road 320 days a year.
So he didn't pay your church enough money. Okay.
Pastor, but you're America's pastor. And I said, Charlie, if we were at a tabling event on campus where the table said, prove me wrong, I'd win. And he looked at me with that sheepish grin that he always has.
That ugly fucking smile.
Doggone it if he wasn't right. I mean, I wasn't America's pastor 2 minutes ago, and I won't be after this, but for right now, he proved me wrong.
All right, come on.
In a moment, you're going to hear from the most powerful political people in the free world. You're going to hear from the who's who.
And by the free world, he means the United States. The United States is not the free world.
What Charlie Kirk did in 31 years on this earth.
So a lot of fucking hate.
Lifetimes in 31 years, and all of us have in the entirety of our own. And as I was thinking about that, to recount all that he's accomplished in 31 years is quite a feat. I mean, I was just telling the Turning Point staff as I walked in here, everyone is worried that Turning Point isn't going to be successful. And I looked at each and every one of them, and for those of you who are negative,
what?
Without Charlie Kirk's presence, they pulled off the largest event in Turning Point history. Let's thank them.
Yeah, because they had the support of the president, the United States, and every other fucking Republican far right winger. That wasn't just Turning Point. That was the radicalization of a group of people. All right. I'm going to go grab something to eat.